Hi, I'm Amanda, but before I get distracted from my story, please like and subscribe. I was raised by my single dad, who was a famous judge on a court TV show. Sounds like a cool guy, right? Wrong. The two of us got along like Coke and Mentos. Total messy chaos.
I won't tolerate any more D's on your report card, Amanda. D is for delinquent.
No, D is for don't care, leave me alone. It wasn't that I didn't care about my grades, but school was hard for me. And it's not because I wasn't smart. Okay, class, who can tell me where the world's largest volcano is? That would be Mauna Loa in Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. Did you know that there are no snakes there? I hate snakes. They're like large worms that bite. Yuck. One time, my dad had a case where—
Thank you, Amanda. We get the picture.
I just get easily distracted. I'm like a golden retriever when it sees a squirrel. Dad never understood me. He was always laser focused on anything he did, and he just assumed I was lazy, careless, or plain dumb when I didn't do well. Like one time, I had a big test at school, and Dad asked me how it went. It was great. I wrote all the questions. Dad was so happy that he let me have ice cream for dinner. But when the results came back, he was horrified. I got a 0 out of 100.
Amanda, you just rewrote the questions?
Yeah, I told you.
Oh, that's it. You're grounded. No phone, no more ice cream.
Eventually, he took me to a specialist, and I learned that I had attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, which sounds much cooler. That was the reason I had trouble focusing. To me, it kind of felt like having a superpower. I never got bored, I had unlimited energy, and I always had something to talk about. I wish everyone could see it that way, but as soon as the principal found out, he called me and Dad into his office.
Amanda needs help, and there are separate schools for such kids.
He was talking about me like I wasn't even there. I'm not going anywhere. But as I jumped up, I accidentally knocked the principal's coffee all over his laptop, which short-circuited. Uh-oh. Dad pulled me out of school, and while he figured out what to do with me, I spent the next few days in my room, you guessed it, grounded. The next weekend, Dad had his high school reunion. He couldn't find someone to babysit me. And that may be because I'd driven out every babysitter by playing pranks on them, like the time I put a plastic tarantula in my sitter's slipper and nearly gave her a stroke, or when I set up a fake ghost in the closet and my new babysitter broke the sound barrier. Hilarious! Also, I just want to clarify, I didn't do it because I hate them. I did it because I was 16. Do I look like a baby who needs to be sat on? No thank you. Okay, back to the story. Focus, Amanda. Dad had no choice but to take me along to the reunion. It was awkward since I was the only person there under 50, until I saw a girl my age by the coat check, touching all the coats. Weird, but so was I. I decided to charm her. 37, 38, 39. What you doing, Rain Man? Ah! You scared me! You know, I am so glad I'm not the only teen here. This place is so boring. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your favorite color? Have you ever— Oh my gosh! Shut up, freak! I have to start counting all over again. I'm not a freak. You're the one who's counting people's coats. Can you please move away from my sight? Your shirt has more wrinkles than my grandma, and it's making me nauseous. What a jerk! I was about to pull her perfect little ponytail when—
Amanda, there you are. I want you to meet my best friend from high school, John.
Well, it seems like she's already met my daughter Haley. I'm sure you two will be fast friends, just like your dads.
I was about to say heck no, but Haley calmly turned to her dad and said, "Of course, Father. Amanda here is quite the character." I could see the glint of hatred through her fake smile. Haley walked away, and I couldn't help wondering what her deal was. I was so lost in my thoughts that I slammed straight into a waiter who fell into the giant champagne tower at the center of the room, knocking the whole thing down. And Dad was angrier than I'd ever seen him. As he dragged me out, I caught Haley giving me a satisfied smirk. That girl! I knew I was in big trouble, but it was a total accident. Unfortunately, Dad didn't see it that way, because the very next day, I overheard him talking on the phone with someone.
That sounds like the perfect place for Amanda. She's too much for me. I can't get through to her or relate with her on any level, and it's very frustrating. Maybe sending her to a different environment will help us both.
I couldn't help feeling hurt at his words. It's not like he'd ever made an effort. He only had one daughter, and that was too much for him. I walked in angrily as he hung up.
Oh, Amanda, I was just about to come talk to you. I've decided that I'm sending you to a boarding school.
Because you can't deal with me, right? So shipping me off is convenient for you?
I'm doing it for your own good. You need a place with more discipline. Tomorrow, you'll leave for St. Elmo's Manners School.
A manners school? I'd rather be sent to Siberia.
This is not up for discussion. I'm your father, and what I say goes.
I stormed out of the room and slammed the door not once, not twice, but 3 times, just so he knew how steamed I was. The next day, Dad had all my things packed and ready to go, but on the drive there, I felt I had to put up one last fight. You want me to start at a new high school halfway through the year? I'll never make new friends.
Well, luckily, you already have a friend at St. Elmo's.
I didn't know what he meant until we drove up to the school, and then I saw Haley standing outside with her dad. Father, what is she doing here? Did the zoo not have any openings? Haley made a gesture like she was gonna throw up. Don't be so dramatic. I don't bite, but that can change depending on your attitude.
You two are so funny. No, Haley, Amanda here is your newest classmate, and even better, your new roommate.
Wait, what?
You two are going to be best friends just like your dads.
I would rather eat a pile of rotting leaves than... But suddenly, Haley slapped a hand over my mouth. Oh, Amanda. Always the comic. Very excited about all this. Good day, Father.
Goodbye, Amanda. Be good.
I just gave him a long, sulky look before following Haley to our room, where she immediately pulled out a roll of tape and taped a big line across the floor. You stay on your grimy side, and I stay on my clean side. No exceptions. If you hate me like I hate you, why do you put on such a good face for your father? Father's been sad since Mother left. I don't want him to get upset. Oh, I see. You know, I don't have a mom either. I never met her. I mean, I guess I did, but I don't remember. She turned around, not even listening to me, and started counting and touching her books. What's with the counting? I hate math. I'm so bad at it. It's not that I'm dumb, it's more that I get distracted after the number 15. Well, after the number 3. What I do and why I do it is none of your business. And then she put on noise-canceling headphones. So much for basic human decency. I started classes the next day and OMG, this school was my worst nightmare. I had to walk to every class balancing books on my head, and my uniform was pricklier than a porcupine. Even worse, our dads had paid the school so that we had every single class together. It felt like they were forcing us together like peanut butter and jelly, when really, she was salmon and I was Nutella. Gross! One day at lunch, I was hungrier than a hippo, so as soon as I got my food, I started shoving it in my face. Suddenly, I looked up and everyone was staring at me with disgust. We wait till everyone gets their food to start eating here? This isn't a soup kitchen. Pretty soon, I'll have to get you a leash and tell you where to sit. The entire lunchroom erupted in laughter. I'd never been so humiliated in my life, but I was gonna get my sweet revenge. On my way out, I grabbed bottles of ketchup and mustard, and I used them like they were my own personal spray paint cans all over Haley's side of the room. Soon after, when she opened the door, the look on her face was priceless. Until, thud, she dropped to the floor. OMG, was she dead? Luckily, she was still breathing, but yeah, completely unconscious. Feeling panicked, I put her on a blanket, which I dragged all the way to the infirmary. What happened? Our room was a mess, and when she saw it...
Oh no, Haley has OCD. She needs things to be clean and organized, otherwise...
She'll die?
Well, no, but she can panic and faint.
I felt so terrible. All this time, I thought Haley was being a monster, when really, she was struggling like I was, just in a different way. I went back and cleaned our room till it was spotless. When Haley got back, she was shocked. Haley, I am so sorry for the mess. I had no idea you struggled with OCD. I have ADHD, so I know what it's like when your brain gets in the way. And at that, Haley's gaze softened. Yeah, Mom dealt with it a lot better, but Father isn't so good at it. Even though he tries, he sent me here thinking this place would help. I can relate. At least your dad tries. Mine doesn't even do that. For the first time, we ended up having a real conversation, and it felt great talking to someone who understood what I was going through. From then on, we became closer, and she even helped me with my condition. She knew I had trouble following long instructions on assignments, so she'd break them down into simpler ones. Also, to hang out with her, I had to follow her strict schedule. But I started feeling the fixed routine was helping me focus and finish tasks on time. But when I'd get really restless, she'd agree to race me across the school garden. And of course, I always beat her, but she was a good sport about it. Well, till she fell in the mud one evening and completely freaked out. But I quickly hosed her down and helped her back to the room so she could shower for an hour straight. Later that night, I'd almost dozed off when I heard a loud thud. I saw she'd fallen out of bed. Wow, not a good day for you, huh? I was just trying to stand, but my stupid sprained ankle can't take the weight yet. I just can't sleep. I need to switch the light on 99 times or I'll go crazy. Okay, how about you lie back down and I do it, and you can count with me to make sure. You know I get distracted after 3. She seemed to calm down as she counted while I turned the light on and off, and then went to sleep peacefully. Yeah, the manor school was still annoying, but I had Haley now. Although the few times Dad called, I made sure I always sounded angry and miserable. But in reality, things were good. good until they weren't. It all started changing when our literature teacher suddenly left and her replacement turned up. Miss Olivia wasn't like the other old hens who taught us. She was young and beautiful and very unconventional. Okay, so what do we have on the syllabus? Boring. Who reads Shakespeare anymore? Geez, are they trying to send you all into a coma? This is terrible. And then she ripped up the syllabus as we all gasped in delight. Well, Haley gasped in horror. Miss Olivia would make us close our eyes in class while she played heavy rock music and told us to think about what made us angry. Other times, she'd take us on nature walks, make us dip our feet in the stream, and let our minds wander. Then she'd tell us to write poems and stories about what we felt. Ah, Amanda, a haiku from you. Puppies bark so loud, ice cream melts on the sidewalk. I like green balloons. It's nice, but you sound a little hollow right now. You need to dig deeper. Every thought inside of you is a petal in the garden of chaos, waiting to be plucked and woven into a harmonious tapestry. I zoned out somewhere in the middle of that sentence. What now? But surprisingly, Haley was flourishing in the rule breakers class. Oh my, this is what I'm talking about. So profound and wise beyond your years. You're a genius, Haley. Haley's face was glowing at the praise, and I was so happy for her. But then, Miss Olivia started paying her tons of attention, and Haley was even spending most of her free time with her. Hello? You missed the homework slot on your schedule? Oh, no. I did mine in Miss Olivia's office. And guess what? I showed her my collection of short stories, and she thinks with some editing, they're good enough for being published as a book. What stories? I've never seen them. I've actually never shared them with anyone, and I'm sure they'd bore you. But Miss Olivia makes me feel like she gets me, you know? She's amazing. Yeah, she's swell. Wait, are you wearing black nail polish like Miss Olivia? Maybe. So what? Soon after, Haley got even busier preparing for some short story competition Miss Olivia had submitted her name for. The two seemed tighter than sardines in a can, and I couldn't help feeling replaced. A few days later, Haley had a cold and decided to stay in for our weekly shopping trip in town, so I thought I'd get her some cookies from her favorite bakery. As I walked out, I spotted Miss Olivia talking to some woman outside, and when I heard Haley's name, I paused to listen. Oh, I'm certain Haley will bag the first spot. The prize money should be enough to make the publisher's first payment, and, well, her father's rich. He'll pay the rest. He's enrolled her in this fancy school and gives her everything, but he doesn't seem to take much interest otherwise, which is good for me. I won't have him breathing down my neck and asking why I'm putting my name down as the co-author of his daughter's book, entitled to 60% of all the profits. It's gonna be a hit, I'm telling ya. And Haley agreed to it? Please. That girl adores me blindly. She'd do anything I say. Just then, a bigger woman tugged at Miss Olivia's sleeve asking for money, and she pulled away with a disgusted face and started screaming at her. I quietly slipped away. Jeez, Miss Olivia was a witch, and I had to tell Haley, which didn't go as planned. Wow, this is unbelievable. I know, right? I didn't think you'd stoop so low. What? It hasn't escaped my notice that you've wanted Miss Olivia's attention, and you haven't been happy that she's taken me under her wing. You obviously misunderstood what she said. Her name will only be included as editor in my book. That's not what I heard. You have the attention span of a rabbit. You probably didn't even hear everything and just made up the rest. And yeah, right. As if Miss Olivia could shout at anyone, let alone some beggar. What did she do next? Kick a squirrel? Steal ice cream from a kid? She's a fake, pretentious witch, okay? She's not the cool, loving mom figure you're looking for so desperately. For once in your life, Amanda, just shut up! Haley pushed me away and stormed off. We didn't speak to each other for the next few days. I felt miserable, but I wasn't gonna apologize. I'd only told her the truth. Didn't even wish her good luck as she prepared to leave for the story writing competition with Miss Bakery. But when the two didn't return till late at night, the principal started making inquiries, and we got the most awful news. They'd been in a car accident on the way back. I rushed with the principal to the hospital where Haley's dad had arrived too, and it turned out that Miss Olivia was okay, but Haley was still unconscious. She didn't wake up till the next day, and every minute that passed by, I was filled with dread. I felt every neuron in my brain was going haywire, and I suddenly ran out of the hospital with no idea where I was going. As I ran down the pavement, I crashed straight into someone, and I looked up to see that it was Dad.
Amanda! I came as soon as I heard. I wanted to make sure you were okay.
And in that moment, all my anger at him melted away, and I cried in his arms like a baby. I never told you this when you called, but Haley kind of became my best friend. She really gets me, and she's helped me so much. But then we had a stupid fight, and now, what if that nonsense ends up being the last thing I said to her?
I'm sure she'll be fine, honey, and you two will have tons of stupid fights. And I'm here to see you through this. I've missed having you around, kid, really.
As we walked back to the hospital, hand in hand, we found Haley's dad at the door.
Amanda, there you are. Haley's awake, her vitals are good, and she's been asking for you repeatedly. She said she has to apologize to you. What happened?
Oh, nothing. Just a dumb fight between besties. We're gonna need some privacy. Thanks. I smiled brightly at our dads and skipped off to Haley's room.